What's happening in this country, folks? Welcome in the ring. A big hole, as they say, a bulge in the road. Protest, Jack Dio's house. What's happening in this country? What is happening in this country? Good to see each and every one of you on with us tonight on the live. And we almost didn't have a show this evening, folks. Great to have each and every one of you here. Welcome in the ring to each and every one of you, wherever you're joining us from this evening. It's Pace and Power. We got a lot to share with you, folks. You want to share the live as quickly as you can, folks. Smash that emoji button as well and partner with us. We know we're late this evening, but so much detained us tonight. But we're here, folks. Didn't want to disappoint any of you more than we already have being on late, folks. But here we go. Lots to share with you. Good people this evening. Share that live. Smash that emoji button. Partner with us as well. We're making sure very quickly that we share to all the right places, folks. A lot to share with you this evening. What in this country, I'm telling you, people on the edge, you know. People on the edge in this country. And little can tip people over. Little can tip people over. People can rise up a good day in this country. Yeah, watch and see. People getting fed up. People getting absolutely fed up with what they're seeing here. Mario, we see you there. Shane, Mavis, we see you as well. And Robin and all the other folks joining us this evening. Folks, there's a lot to get through. There's a lot to get through tonight. Wilma Grant, we see you there as well. And Robin Kendall, Chester, Haywood, we see you as well. From all the various places you folks are joining us from, welcome to the room. It's Pace and Power. We're fired up and we are ready to go. We hope that you guys are as well. A lot, as we said, to share with you. Fantastic folks tonight. What's happening in this place, folks? We're in the 592. We're in the 5 of the 9 of the 2 right away. No time to lose. No time to spare. We're in the 592. That's what the folks telling us. Now, sir, we're in the 592. Pace and Power, good folks. We want to make sure that all is well. All is good at your end, folks. Pace and Power, boots on the ground. We're backing down. That's why I want you to know we are not backing down, folks. And why not let us start with the opener tonight? That is where we're starting, folks. We're starting with the opener. That's where we are. With the opener, telling you people on the edge in this country. People on the edge. You don't tell me Brian Max went by Jack House today. Oh, you don't tell me Brian Max went by Jack House today. Don't come wrong with funny, folks. Don't do it. Well, we telling you, didn't tell me, but we telling you, we have to find out your own. We have to find out our own, folks. That's the opener. Telling you people on the edge in this country, you know. Brian Max, I don't even know where Jack live in. You know, the area is part of it too. Brian know exactly like Brian went before. But he vexed today. He vexed guardian of democracy, folks. Brian Max took people like Jack today. Take a look and take a listen of some of what Max showed us, folks. I apologize in advance for the language. I apologize for the linguistics. Pace and Power. Take a look, folks. And take a listen as well. Pace and Power.
Show you where this man living. The extravagance that these people who are supposed to be our workers, our servants, public servants, to show you how they live. To show you the mansions. Look, it's starting already. Show you the mansions. And the billions that they can enjoy. Look, the fucking house. Does this look like them little baby house lot what it's giving you in Sophia? Man, people got concrete drains. Security alarm systems put it in. Fancy fences. Look at the size of these houses. Pray man the chancellor, she run for $1 million US. Her lot in here. She bought it for, I think, $1 million Ghana. She sold for $1 million US. Look at the fences start. Look at the buildings inside here. This is the kind of life they're living. And you living in squalor. You living in squalor. This big fence is by Jack Dio fence. This house lot here, empty one is here. This is where he living. It's where Jack Dio living. Inside here, sir. In this mansion. With all this fucking money. And fancy cars and Italian marble fucking floors. Yeah? This is where he living. And where you living? You live in a fucking dungeon. You living in massive fucking well. This is the fucking little, this we can walk and bring up in the afternoon with the dogs. This is where they fucking living. This is how the people living. This is how they're living. These are their homes. They're like fucking drug dealers. They're living like drug dealers. This is like if I get in Colombia with the Medellin cartel, this is how they just live in Colombia. And this is how your leaders live in. And they can't pay you more than $85,000. They can't pay you more than $85,000.
It's me, folks. I feel like a little impregnated since right. Brian finished that, and folks, about half hour, Brian just ranting. I don't know what has happened with Brian Max, but folks, they've tipped him over the edge. Circumstances. Speedy man, Butcher Banton, made me what I am. I was that a cuss boy. I wasn't. You know, you got a little 2x4. That's a spread, though. Italian marble floors. That's a spread, Jack Deal. You and Thief living in there? Well, a thief does live in there. Folks, that's a spread. That's a spread. Thank you, Brian, for that. Thank you, Brian, for that. Folks, it's trouble in this country, you know. On all fronts, trouble, trouble, trouble in this country. Protest today outside of the Venezuelan Embassy, folks, in the 592 protest. We call up with some of those guys on the outside. There's a lot, folks, a lot happening in this country to deal with, you know. Folks, let me ask you something. Hold on. Let me go for it. Hold on. You don't take your medication yet? I know a certain, let me come a little bit. Like too much in the end. I know a certain demographic. Watch this program. You don't take your medication. I should be throwing all these things in your chest just like that without warning. Glenn Ford, you rub down the old foot, all right? Sister Odessa, Wendy, Karen Archibald, folks. Like everybody over the edge today. We call up with some folks on the protest line in front of the Venezuelan Embassy because there's another set who won't come around with funny. Paul Slow said no. Clinton, Calloway, and Co. said no. Don't do it. I hope Jack, them listening to these guys, you know, who understand security and intelligence and so on. I hope they're listening to these fellas, you know. Call up with them on Thomas Street today outside the Venezuelan Embassy. Take a look and take a listen. Some of what they told us, good folks. There's a lot happening in this place, my God.
We are protesting the claim by Venezuela to 2/3 of Guyana. That's the entire Essequibo. We're also protesting what we believe is not adequate action on behalf of the government of Guyana to educate and to highlight this issue. You know, in Venezuela, they have rallies, they have big high-powered meetings and all of that over this issue. And what we have is a few statements here and there, a few letters in the media. The president is said to have called in the opposition leader, and they've agreed. They called in the Venezuelan ambassador. That's a diplomatic thing, but you have to go beyond that. People need to be mobilized, right? To let people know, the whole world should know, that in this particular issue, that is the territorial integrity of Guyana, we are united. We might be divided in other issues, but we must show them that in this issue, we are united in our contention that Essequibo belongs to Guyana. They must respect the 1899 Arbitral Award, where their Venezuelans participated and agreed to the boundaries as they are now. Right? And we're saying too, the matters before the ICJ, and Venezuela should allow that process to work. And that is basically a way to try to bring attention or more attention to this issue.
I don't think we should let our guards down, and we should deal with it seriously. I concur with what Paul mentioned, that we need to be serious, and the government also has to be more proactive. This way Venezuela is claiming 2/3 of Guyana. And I said in the previous programs, when you have issues like this, border issues, 3 things we need to look at. Our DIME, D-I-M-E. Things diplomatically, we look at our intelligence, we look at our military, and we look at our economics. And we not doing this kind of thing. A little diplomatic thing here and there. But what about the intelligence? If you look at things at the international scene, what's going on in Israel now? They dropped the guard. The Mossad and Shin Bet dropped the guard, and the Palestinians invaded there for a while. And we've seen the murderous thing that is going on there. Therefore, I'm saying that we have to sensitize our Guyanese, or our military, including police or joint service, on the borders location. Nobody talking to them. Nobody sensitizing them. We not even looking at whether they have the training to be as first responders, as the case may be. That, and then we heard statement from the vice president that he's going to give the Venezuelan a pathway through our waterways to the Atlantic. The Atlantic is where oil is. Is there where I read that the economy is going to grow by 50% this year and 100% next year. But we're giving them pathway through a waterway, through the Cayuni, the Mazzaroni, the Puckatory, the Rupununi, the Escribo, through the Waini, through the Moro Passage and all this thing. Venezuelans coming here in droves, and they're coming also with the ferry that they recently put into place from the Northwest. They come in and they're getting preferential treatment. That we reach a stage where we have more, in certain locations, more Spanish men than Guyanese. And we need to look at that. And if you look at the last election, we said they won by 14,000 votes. We have over 100,000 Venezuelan youth. And I want to suspect they're going to give them ID cards. They're going to vote. Remember the last occasion we heard that persons sharing up ID cards on the East Coast and on the West Demerara. So all these things is tied up in election too, you know. What I'm saying, the government not doing enough, and the government has an opportunity where the leader of the opposition says united. Perhaps it would be nice to see the leader of the opposition and the president on stage, on one stage, and they might shake hands. Well, I remember Bob Marley had Siago and Manley together on a stage, you know, that this thing calls for unity, and we will come back here as regularly as we can. We say, not a blade of grass, not one cuirass, we're going to beat their ass.
I think among my principal concerns is the apparent lack of interest and awareness on the part of the youths. Now, the youths, if I am not wrong, make up a significant portion of our population. And if youths are going to ask me when they pass here or when they see me in the road, what's this border thing all about? It means that we are not doing enough to sensitize them. We need to use a form of a late politician's words. We need to galvanize them, mobilize them. We need to energize these people. And I wrote a post this morning saying that if we were to use half the energy that we use to promote certain bacchanalian events, if we were to use half of the energy to promote the type of awareness I would like to see happen among the youths, we would have a very informed and involved population of youth people, young people, and in addition to that, the older folk. That's it.
That's what the guys told us today. Farmer Street there, folks, outside the Venezuelan Embassy. Where you boots there, folks? Them boys boots on the ground. Respect and manners to them. Where your boots there? 3,000 plus of you watching us across social media. I thought that we can get like a 200 since we on a little late tonight, but now y'all got your chips and your dip and your Polynesian sauce and the whole shebang, folks. No, folks. Folks, there was a Holocaust event today. Brother, Chief Eric Phillips spoke there. You know, one state to the end, we hear some of the things he had to say, but these jacobas and trench capos, and even for some of our own politicians too. Present company inclusive. You want to hear some things Eric Phillips had to say. Chief Eric Phillips. African Holocaust Day internationally. And so ACDA and some other groups were there by the seawalls. They were fantastic liberation. You can want to hear some of what he said, folks. Hold on, but before we get there, who are in this country, folks? My God. Who are in this country? Who are them by we? Oh, shucks. A big bulge. Red Road. Providence. Huh? Here's a big hole. He run up. Here's a big hole. He run up there. Folks, there's no country on earth like Guyana. I love it. You know when people say, Duncan, we're going back to the crossing country. I say, it's me crossing country. It's me crossing country. And I like going back. For now, what's happening in this country? Every day, these crosses bring some plague upon us. Every day. What's happening in this country? Marcy Griffith, Phil Nicholson, Florette, Robert, Margot, Oren. What happened in this country of ours? Hazel Chase. We just started the show, and then suddenly you're done holding your head. Jesus, how shall I go on? How shall I go? We just started the thing here. And we got about 50 more items to cover. We got about 50 more. About 50 more. 50 more items to cover. Robert King, what happened in this country, man? Huh? This will be strong. Let's stop go Suriname, Guadeloupe now. Everything knotting up, tying up. Jesus. He has a big hole. He ran up. Folks, a bulge. Bulge. I thought of boredness when he has a big bulge. I said, oh God, boredness again. Boredness in Red Road. Yeah. Boredness in Red Road. Hey, a big bulge. Elizabeth Howard. Then here's Red Road. I said, oh God, it's red again. Nothing proper in this country start with red. See? Let me start with boredness. Nothing proper in this country. You see, once you get red in it, you're in problems. Red Road, PPP, Redmond. Nothing red in this country proper. Once it's red, you know it's trouble. What's happening in this country, folks? People tell us you're shooting through, heading by Amazonia Mall there, Qualfan, you're going down the line. I hear people start saying, Father, have mercy on me. Forgive me for cheating on my wife. Forgive me for cheating on my husband. Hear confessions. In Red Road today, people say it's the end. The end of the world in Red Road. There's not just a bulge. A boredness bulge of epic proportion bulge. If you hear confessions, literally in Red Road today, I say I keep the money, Father, forgive I. If you hear confessions, Leslie, read a comment, Shelley the Reader. I know some of you only like, but you start confessing your sins. As well, when you all see the big bulge, you'll say, well, Father will swallow me here. He promised never to flood the earth again. He gave me a rainbow as a symbol of that promise. Never to flood the earth again. But I don't know. Do you want me to open and swallow it? If you hear confessions down the line, Father, sorry, put you in the belly. Oh, Father, sorry for neglecting them children. If you hear a story, Flower Jacob's word. Angel here is big hole. He meet. He meet a bulge. Well, you have to party belly to see the bulge. The bulge there, folks. My God. Red Road problems. They told us Minister of Works was there. Some of what he says is very troubling, Yonet. Brenda Moore, Leslyn, Raquel, L. Some of what he says is very troubling to me. Glenford Gordon Sousa. Very troubling. Y'all share the live yet? You see, I see y'all just waiting to see what he say next and what he do. But y'all won't partner with me. Huh? Y'all won't partner with me. Y'all just there for story though. Bantu King is the leader of the pack. Bantu King is. Thanks for the thing, Bantu. Thanks for the thing. Who don't know? Y'all share the live yet? 400 of you. You know, Jesus have mercy. Talk about a dedicated audience. 25 minutes left, y'all still here. It's when the one coming on. Eat my popcorn. It's when the cross coming on. He knows your jacket baton. When he coming on, folks, you go out here, Egg Phillips. Stay till the end. Stay till you see the credit going up. Stay. You look, a fella tell me in Thomas Street today, I ain't calling names. See, a lot of husbands don't like you. The wife pays to this thing. Their men come home one night time, the wife pays to this thing when you come out. Pays to this smartphone. So a lot of husbands don't like you. Look, I did. I said, nice child. And a church boy. Whatever do y'all? Whatever do y'all? Man said, lot of husbands, I become undone, folks. Apologies. Lot of husbands are like you. Angel, gone down by Red Road, some of the things he said, troubling, folks. On many levels. Troubling, I say. Yvette, your husband like me, nah? Alison, what was your husband? Margaret? What was... well, Rio don't tell me the story. Rio don't tell me the whole story, Margaret. So even actually, he tell me the whole story. Listen to my Almighty Bishop, how we see these things. The spirits. The man said, Bishop, you're supposed to picking up these things. Something happening in Red Road this afternoon. You go down there and said, you're supposed to picking up these things. How come? Take a look. Take a listen to some of what he said at Red Road today. Puckatory confusion power. This is a man that says sleepless nights for y'all when we come in government. He didn't know it's them he talking about. The Lord turned back the OB on them. He's sleeping tonight. The Lord turned back the OB on them. He's not sleeping tonight. They're going home as Dick for two. Orin Downs, Glenford, Godwin, the comments. Listen to the Jagabat. Egerton, Glenford, Karen Smith. Troubling. In other news. In other news, folks. One Angela was there. Minister of Works. Take a look. Take a listen.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the media, citizens and other users of this roadway. We have, not so long ago, we have a bulge that has taken place that have raised a road almost between 6 and 8 feet in some places. My engineering team, having examined what has taken place, would believe that it is as a result of the weight of the stockpile of aggregate that is on the extension of the parking lot of the stadium that has caused the movement of the earth. It is clear that with the bulge, this entire stretch of about 150 meters have been totally destroyed. It will cause some amount of inconvenience to commuters because as of the time of the event, until the time when this will be restored, we'll have to restrict traffic on Red Road from the East Bank Highway all the way down to the entrance to Massive. I'd like to thank the Guyana Police Force for the prompt response and the maintaining of traffic flow and order since this event. As a matter of fact, the police was on scene before I arrived. So we want to acknowledge the support that is being given from the Guyana Police. So what needs to be done right now? The stockpile the weight of the stockpile needs to be redistributed. That activity has started. You'll see the machines are there, moving the weight of the stockpile into different areas so as to redistribute. We have already mobilized 2 emergency contractors, which will be arriving on scene shortly. Equipment will begin to work, and the intent is that we have to do a full reconstruction of this section of the road. It's unusual and an unfortunate event. We apologize to the public for the inconvenience caused, and we want to assure you that the Ministry of Public Works and all other stakeholders, because before we could start doing actual digging, we have to get GT&T, Guyana Water, to make sure that we don't have fiber optic cables and pipes that could be damaged while we are excavating, and we are trying to make those arrangements to be able to get everything done. Please, for full disclosure, the stockpile over there is a stockpile that is maintained and owned by the Ministry of Public Works. So we're not blaming any agency for the stockpile. It's a Ministry of Public Works stockpile.
Minister, could you say who the two emergency contractors are who are mobilized?
I can't name them right now. We have to get them to be here and agree.
Could you say who was contacted?
My team is working on that. And you
said-
don't put out details of people's names before you have an engagement, all right?
No, but you
I
said
would
they're
not be
on their
able-
way, sir. So we're trying
We have
to find out who they
invited
are.
we have
They are.
invited contractors to respond to the emergency situation, and we will need two to be working. Once we get that process of who has the capacity and who could get the work done now, we will name who will be working on this.
Thank you very much.
Minister, unbelievable fight. This really, it's a little too early in the game, but do we have to have a reevaluation of how we control like stockpiles and other engagement?
Lessons will be learned from this, sir. Lessons will be learned from this, and you would agree with me that you have passed here before and you have seen stockpiles of aggregate, crusher run, and stone on this very same area before. This is the one you can do that.
Very honest. Thank you very much.
Yep, that's some of what went down there, folks. Battle of the Bulge. Battle of the Bulge. I don't know. But when I was talking about the Bulge, I said, let's tell up front. Anybody had more big than me, I vex with them, you know. I vex with them till we can end this tongue together. So when he started talking about the bulge, I said, like, I never realized this man had more big than me on. This man bulge, more bulgier. More bulgier. But some things they're troubling to me. To me. He said our engineers are on the ground. Like I want to question these engineers myself. He said, sure, you passed here, you see this stockpile here before. You mean none of them engineers in this country ever raise a concern about what's happening there? None. We have to wait till the bulge, and then the engineers come out. Oh my God. What a country we're living in, folks. What a country. Like, I want to live here. Oh, yeah, stop it. I want to live here, folks. The bulge, man, it's the bulge. It's stockpiled. It's the same engineers who pass every day and then raise an alarm. Is they going for trying to rectify the problem now? Who compensating those vendors around that area? You know, I'm hearing some damage to Amazonian Mall and all kinds of things from the bulge. We got to bulge these people out of government, you know. Minister Patterson, former Minister of Infrastructure, now Public Works. He said you're incompetent. How many of you agree with David? He said she's incompetent. I can see, I'll say, I'm looking for a word, but I think I can go this way. Edgel is incompetent. That's what he said. He's incompetent. I think he said something like a transcript on a jagabat. I don't know. I watch what kind of statement. He's incompetent. He said some other things that I'm obligated to go through. One of our folks reached out to him. It's a long statement. I don't know. I can't read all this in one night. They put a whole long statement here. This is madness, folks. Part of what he said. David is a qualified engineer. Right? Not you go on internet and you print off something says engineer. Study and pass the exam, engineer. The bishop prayed, but God didn't answer his prayers to become an engineer. Bishop Wanajil is an incompetent leader. This part of the statement. Member of Parliament Patterson gave to our publication. Bishop Wanajil is an incompetent leader. And the Minister of Public Works, not being an engineer, has shown his gross negligence in allowing anyone to stockpile such large amounts of sand and stone in such a small, busy area. That's part of what Patterson said. He has shown his incompetence, and he is incompetent. That's part of what Patterson has said in response to this. We reached out to him. We led because we're there playing footsie here, you know. His incompetence. And now we're waiting on the engineers. Oh, we don't like to say who the engineers are. I think they contact nobody. Leroy Smith, right taxi question. I ain't think to contact nobody up to that point. Sleepless nights for them. God don't like ugly. Sleepless nights. Our thoughts for the people who sell and reside in that area. Now we whole hosting convenience to the people there. We gotta bulge them out of office, man. Incompetence. Patterson said, any engineer worth his salt will have not allowed that stockpile of large amounts of sand and stone in such a small, busy area. But not at jail. Not at jail. You know, you all remember the fake doctor the other day. In his heart of hearts, he's probably an engineer. In his heart of hearts, he like with engineers by the Ministry of Works now. He thinks he's one. Right? You see, he's of the belief if you stand in the garage long enough, you can become a car. He like with engineers in the ministry now. He believes he's an engineer. In his heart of hearts. He's an engineer. So that is part of Patterson's response. You'll see an article out of us later on this. Credible sources, folks. Look out for that. You're going to see an article in that. It's madness what is happening here. Let's get through a couple other things quick before we run out of time in our broadcast tonight. Because I want to get to Eric Phillips, Chief Eric Phillips, at that ceremony today to reflect on the African Holocaust and all those who've gone before us and those on whose shoulder we stand. Don't go to the place. You go, why Eric said? See, never this one Guyana story here. Eric got some thoughts for them. Eric got some thoughts for them in this one Guyana story. So let's get through some other stuff quickly, folks. Look, in this country here we call one Guyana, a stepdad unleashed a beating on his son, 4 years old, you know. 4 years old, David Joshua of Perica, fracturing his skull. Among other injuries, they should put you in the hole with the bulge. He and the bishop. When Bishop comes out, he's a bigger devil, or he convert Joshua. If you got any power, David Joshua. Beat a 4-year-old to fracture his skull. Folks, if the devil is loose in this country, something wrong with me. Something wrong with us in this country, folks. With these crosses. Y'all realize it's since August 2nd, 2020? The amount of things we're dealing with is more than we know. It's more than we can't tax somebody overseas for help we here. Huh? Farida Bacchus, we could tag you, Donjo, Patience Selby, Melanie, Princess, who we could tag. Some of the things we're confronting with in this one Guyana. You think it's easy here? Look, story now. High school got different meaning. They say watch the snacks you giving to those kids. Right? This goldfish is swimming here, this goldfish flying from Trinidad. Is Trinidad got the flying fish or Barbados? Who are the flying fish? This fish flying high. This snack, they tell us, Celeste, Sheila Boyd Child, even Mathis. They said this here is what put the high in high school. Laced with cannabis, sativa, ganja. You will just see some students in back of class smelling up some. You know. You don't know. It's catfish stuff. Catfish stuff. You see your friends just say and just tear off. Sometimes it takes. It's the bulge, the jaguar, the jumping bird. You take a pick. Kind of monuments to Satan y'all put down this country. You're not expecting to be bulging. Watch them chilling the goldfish. When the Hudson, Charlene, Don Joe, Celeste, Vanessa Brewster. So look, if for every laugh y'all send us $30, my God, I live like Jack Dio there in Perth. We built a studio to that standard and size. For every laugh, Wilma Grant, Ramily and Enid McGinnis, you send us $30. My God, we built a studio to rival the ages. Put us back in power like that. So tonight, folks, watch the goldfish. Ganja laced. Yeah. Your kids will be high in high school. See, this is where we come from. This is the thing. You see some of them just smile up at themselves. I want this is what they're run by the new Campbellville Secondary. I want to get some goldfish. The amount of fights. It's Fight Nation in there, you know. It's Fight Nation. You see? Them changes at the back of the class smile up some. Hi, miss. I'm happy today. Father of His mercy is one country, you know, and all of these things bedeviling us. All these things bedeviling us. I can see prayer. I got sample this. I ain't taking Duncan word. I got sample this here. I got sample this here. The jackbat named Duncan, he doesn't make us say wrong thing. Like sample this goldfish. Yeah? There's all kind of things happening us. In this one piece of country, then we got, by the time they're done with we folks, whole dead here, badly wounded, you think we can make 5 years? Huh? You don't think we can rally out in this country for 5 years? Yeah. If every day 6 weeks knocked down on the road, you think we can rally out? You walking through some red something, the whole road open and swallow you. You think we can rally out? We come this far. Chikungunya, smallpox, smallcocks, all manner of things bedevil us, all these strains of COVID. You think we can rally out this government now? We can survive them? You think so? Father of His mercies. Watch them snacks, eh? Watch them snacks, people. Who sharing the live? Who can smash that emoji button for us? Hold on, Eric Phillips, hold on. Chief Eric Phillips got an important word for them. This one guy they're talking about was lashed today by the lash. Once you pass across the the bandstand, you get lashed today by Eric. Eric was in a lashing mood. If lose Eric on this red road here, the bunch you got down, you have to get no engineer. Lashing your skin. Lashing your skin. Eric said, who vex? I talking today. I got the mic. I got the mic today. Folks, watch your children consuming. Right? Let's be proactive. Proactive. Look story. One country, you know. One country. Baby found dead in the Camarang River. God have mercy. Like it's the second dark ages upon we here. Like Ezekiel bud. God has left us. Like it's the dark ages and not wrong. Baby found dead in the Camarang River. Oh, Father, forgive us. Forgive us. You know, the good book says, my people. Is He talking to me, you know? Humble yourself and pray and turn from your wicked ways, said Jill. Jack Dio, the whole pack of y'all. I will hear them from upstairs. And I can heal the bulge and other things. All the smalleries. I can heal them. Father of His mercy in this country. Baby found in the Cameron River. Father, watch over this country for me. Isabella Butters, who dead here, badly wounded Isabella. Badly wounded. Badly. Wounded bigly. Good folks. We can make it out. That's all I want to know. Anybody can answer that for me? Is we can make it out or not? Look at us recovering quickly. I want to get to Eric. Mario, fire, commission of inquiry. They killed 24 young people there. Negligence in the state. I think the final scapegoat today, though, because they're telling us one former education officer. She's reported saying that, they're saying she did not review the fire inspection report, although told of its urgency. Remember, the fire service had done a review and handed it to somebody, and some bear cook-up show like that Nancy story actually tell out there. The man who found the scapegoat, former education officer, did not review fire inspection report, order told of its urgency. So she alone. No, but they say, Jesus. Folks, we're not a pilot. It's a Tesla. Right? The testing out of the wheels at the top. There's a Tesla here. We're not a pilot. And that's all they want, you know. A scapegoat. And they try to come out looking like angels. The pack of vagabonds. They are pack of vagabonds. Y'all see Brian for the day, or he's still ducking? Y'all see he for the day, or he's still ducking? People said the pack of nonsense he talk. But he said, well, we can need 2 hours to go through all of that. 2 whole hours to get through all of that. Police officers say some of y'all think y'all is Superman on these roads. Don't mean to make a light of the carnage of our waterways and our roadways. I don't need to make light of it. But Burmese police commander, he says some of y'all these motorcyclists think y'all is Superman. Huh? And apparently, according to him, the motorcyclists, they're the ones causing the most carnage on the roads. I tell you what the fellow tell me. Causing the most problems on the roads. That's what he said. That is what he said. Isn't it? Yeah. He said, I think they're Supermen. That his words. These motorcyclists, they think they're Supermen out there. But they're doing the most damage. Folks, I don't care if you're on a bike, you're on a car, you're on a scooter, you're on a bicycle. Slow down. Most accidents, he said, caused by the bikers. They think they're Supermen. Most accidents, he said, it's the bikers. Tell me the fellow, tell me. I ain't trying to make a profit here. Buying it how we get it. Selling it how we buying it. Folks, we selling it how we buying it. The bikers causing the most accident. Who is vexed? Today, African Holocaust Remembrance Day internationally. Eric Phillips and other African Guyanese and other folks as well, other ethnicities, were there by the bandstand, paying homage for those who've gone before us, the ancestors. When you go follow, you think we can there all the time, really? No! That big house will fall down. Don't bulge down. We're going to be all the time. Our life is a stage, Shakespeare says. Good book said, thus we came from, and from that we shall return. We think it is. Yes, rain forever. Stop it. Right now. Eric says some of the nonsense you're going on with. Yeah? This one Guyana stuff here. Yeah? You better catch your senses and do right. He went on to say that politicians who represent the black community need to speak up as well. Folks, brace it over. Brace it over. That's what I'm telling you. Brace it over. Take a look. Take a listen. Some of our Chief Eric Phillips of Wagner said today, commemoration of the African Holocaust Day today. Take a look, take a listen.
This year, we commemorate the 200th anniversary of the bicentenary of the Demerara Slave Rebellion, in which approximately 10 to 12,000 Africans fought for their rights and were brutally massacred by British soldiers. Today in particular, we pay tribute to Kwamina, Jack Gladstone, and Amber, among many other freedom fighters who took part in this rebellion. At least 50 of these heroes had their heads chopped off and placed on stakes from the parade ground to Mahaika. This is just one episode in a 400-year criminal enterprise that the United Nations has described as a crime against humanity. Today, Thursday, October 12th, is the Maafa, or African Holocaust Day. It is the single most important day in the global African calendar. The Maafa is commemorated on the 12th of October because it was on this date in 1492 that Christopher Columbus arrived in these parts, and that began the unbridled decimation of indigenous cultures and Black African nations. Maafa means great tragedy. It's also the word that describes the perpetuity of more than 500 years of suffering of people of African descent endured through slavery, imperialism, colonialism, invasions, and exploitation. The current Exxon contract is just a continuation of this Maafa. It must be nationally recognized and remembered that 473,000 Black Africans died during slavery in Guyana. This is hidden from our history books. They laid Guyana's most vital infrastructures with their blood and bones, and we continue to benefit from that. These Black Afro-Guyanese died for us, but today we remain disproportionately excluded. So let's talk about one Guyana. Historically, no group in Guyana has done more than Black Africans to indigenize Guyana, as depicted in the Venn Commission. We cleared 15,000 square miles. And if you were to add all the lands in Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, St. Vincent, it only comes up to 8,000 square miles. But our ancestors cleared 15,000 square miles. Whilst enslaved, our ancestors cleared 9 million hectares of land, moved 100 million acres of ton in their bare arms, and dug 2.58 million miles of drainage canals, trenches, and beds. They also built the seawalls, as well as 3,500 miles of dams, roads, and footpaths. So as we look at it, Africans during 200 years of slavery made Guyana livable out of the wild coast, which was full of venomous snakes and other dangers. I'd like to reiterate that 473,000 enslaved Black African lives were lost during 200 years of slavery. This is well documented in the Guyana reparations story. These lives were brutalized, raped, branded, starved, murdered, maimed, boiled in hot water or tar, and treated as people without souls. All of their human rights, as defined by the United Nations Declaration for Human Rights, were denied, while the Christian church preached peace and obedience to the masters. Slavery is a crime against humanity, and the Guyana Reparations Committee will seek reparations from the Dutch, British, and Guyanese sovereign states. We need to speak about one Guyana. And in regard to the ongoing disproportionate inequalities of Afro-Guyanese in this particular environment, we have the following recommendations. One Guyana should mean Guyana is a plural democracy in which every Guyanese is equally valued, regardless of race, color, creed, or economic means. We need a society of genuine ethnic partnerships and intertwined relationships. This means that one Guyana cannot be an ethnic democracy with majoritarian or authoritarian DNA, but it must be a democracy in which all are valued. As a matter of fact, United Nations defined racism and democracy to be incompatible. So in order to have a democracy in Guyana, we cannot have racism as its underlying principle. Unfortunately, as people of African descent in Guyana, we feel excluded from these privileges. One Guyana should also be about having a strategic vision of nation building in a rights-based driven democracy with a shared and common vision of inclusiveness that embodies and incorporates shared values, shared goals, shared responsibilities and accountability, shared governance, shared decision-making, shared transparency, and shared benefits. You'll recognize that the word shared is repeated over and over. If we do have a one Guyana that is like this, we will have a political economy in which everyone benefits and which the aspirational rights of all Guyanese will be met in a fair and just manner. To transform the lives of all Guyanese, one Guyana must be redefined, and it must be redefined in a way in which we see democracy as a human rights marketplace of freedoms, collective ideas, inclusive and transparent institutions, cohesive communities, strong families, and responsible individuals who share a common vision, common values, jointly created and enjoyed by all. As we think about one Guyana, we must recognize that a government's highest responsibility is the physical, economic, social, cultural, security, and spiritual well-being of all of its citizens. This implies that all citizens of Guyana should have equal access to the natural endowments of the nation and the same equity to develop these endowments. So oil blocks, gold concessions, quarries, contracts, scholarships, commercial lands, and other mineral and financial assets should be equally shared. This does not happen in today's one Guyana. It should also be such that people of African descent should be given preferences before foreign entities and foreign citizens who currently are given preferential rights to these national assets. And this should not happen. One Guyana, in regard to people of Black African descent in Guyana, means that Guyana's economic vision and plan must radically address our sustainable development in the context of our climate change realities and strategically diversify our economy to create sustainable wealth in each community. All of our villages along the East Coast that our ancestors bought are at risk by 2030 to climate change. The IPCC projection says that Georgetown and most of these villages will be underwater. We call on our politicians who represent African Guyanese to speak to the government about this critical issue, because in 2030, Buxton, Victoria, and all the villages on the East Coast will be under duress. And as you know, plans are being made to make Region 3 the new capital of Guyana. If you were to only walk over to Region 3, you will see the infrastructure that's being built there. You'll see all of the new arrivals from Venezuela are being parked there. Our politicians need to wake up so that we have a one Guyana that is inclusive. Currently, they're sleeping. One Guyana, the people of Black African descent, means that our youth should be the essence of a new, inclusive, multiracial, multicultural society. Our youth should be intricately represented in the development process and nurtured through arrangements such as the creation of youth businesses in the Black African community, so that food security requirements, which will be discussed next week at the Afro-Caribbean Agricultural Forum, that we will be included. We need to go to these events and not stay away from them because our people are being left out. So I call again on politicians who represent people of African descent to participate fully, not only in the conference that deals with food security, that deals with 20 by 25, that deals with how Guyana will feed the Caribbean. They should be there to represent us because we have hundreds of thousands of acres of lands that are underutilized. And so at the heart of this, what I'm saying today, is that one Guyana needs to have a political system where the government and opposition are in constant dialogue so that our needs, our requirements are met, and not have a one Guyana that's defined by one party that excludes us, as is today. I'd like to also pose a question. What is marginalization? Over the last weeks, we've had people in Washington, we've had all sorts of denials about marginalization. But it was Dr. David Hines in 2008 who said, I define marginalization in the following terms: being on the periphery or margins of the political and economic power structures. Does that relate to us? That we are on the periphery of political and economic power? Yes. He also said that marginalization means exercising no direct or indirect influence over normal political and economic decisions. Isn't that true? We have no influence on what's going on with oil. We have no influence what's going on with economics. We have no influence on what's going on with the inflow of foreign nationals in this country. Many of them are going to vote, and yet we have no say in who they are and what rights they have before our rights. So does that mean that we're not marginalized? Because David Hines says marginalization means we have no direct or indirect influence over normal political and economic decisions. For any political leader to say that they will not discuss issues that are relevant to us with the accepted leader of Guyana is an idiot. Because it means that our issues are not being addressed. And we need to have mature political leaders who are going to represent us so that we are not being marginalized. You can't speak about marginalization and not dialogue. Nelson Mandela taught us that. Everyone should understand that no government is going to develop a plan for people of African descent. We have to develop it, and our politicians have to propose that. As I look around Guyana today, I see a total indifference to people of African descent. And we're the ones who are enabling that to happen. Because we are voiceless, because our political leaders are cowards, because they won't go and represent us. And I don't care who's angry. This is African Holocaust all over again, if we're being left out of this economy. And I end with a statement from Martin Luther King. For those who are listening, like an unchecked cancer, hate corrodes the personality, it eats away its vital unity. Hate destroys a man's sense of values and his objectivity. It causes him to describe the beautiful as ugly and the ugly as beautiful, and to confuse the true and false with the false and the truth. May our politicians wake up from their slumber. May the African community realize that everyone else is indifferent to it. May the African community develop its own African development plan in the context of the overall national development plan of Guyana. And may we understand, as if you look at Israel and Palestine, that foreign nations aren't interested in whose racism is being practiced upon. They have their own interests. So to take a book of 1,400 deaths to the USA is folly. They're not interested. They only have their interests and their rights. And their interest is not about us. So if we're going to speak to the US government and to foreign governments, we have to talk about their rights and how it interfaces with our rights. They know about the racism here. They know about the 1,400 deaths. They know the names better than we do. So stop this folly that every time a visitor comes here, you give them a book with 1,400 names. They're not interested. We have to recognize that. There's an indifference to us. There's an indifference to us with many prime ministers of the Caribbean. If not, they would have said something. So, on this African Holocaust Day, may the spirits and souls of our ancestors lie in peace at the bottom of the ocean and on this land that they lived, built, and died for. And may we wake up from our slumber. I thank you.
Yep. Yep. Let's reflect on all those who have gone before us and on whose shoulder we stand, folks. That's going to do it for us this evening. Cannot anything dear. That's our time, good folks. And that's our program. That being said,